Hello everyone, how are you today? Hopefully everyone is doing well out there. I know it's so, everything, it just feels really crazy. Like I said, I think the bubble is just getting bigger, and it's about to release here real soon with everything going on. The energies are very, very thick. Um, Yesterday I had a headache like all day long, and it just wouldn't go away no matter what I took. And today my head is just full of pressure, especially my sinuses. Today I'm sitting in my bedroom, so I thought I would do a little bit different background. I love this picture behind me. It is by Android Jones, and it's called Union, and I just love it because it has the male and the female aspect, and they have like war bonnets on with these feathers. It's just awesome. And then I made this dream catcher. It's not a round one, but it's an unusual shape, and I like to hang my earrings from them. So dream catchers are good to hang things from too. Anyway, yeah, yesterday was the big, or a couple days ago was the big shutdown of Facebook, and mass movements. First they said 50 million, and now they're saying 70 million people have now moved to Telegram. So I did see one video of someone saying that possibly this was the white hats taking it down. In retrospect, this made everybody from Facebook, or however these 70 million people, made them move to a platform that they could get information from. So if we ever get this EBS coming, it will be a huge platform for them to release an EBS through, or any kind of information. So thank goodness. Anyway, today I'm going to read some more out of the message for the Tribe of Many Colors from Little Grandmother. And it's basically expectations and things we expect and how to let go. So there's some good information in here, and I just wanted to read it to you. So let's start. So it says, letting go of expectations. We humans are a funny species. We are always emotionally and mentally stuck on what we are lacking or on what is wrong in the moment. Our love lives or our jobs are not fulfilling, or our relationships are not meeting our expectations. The problem is that we have expectations, and therefore we set ourselves up for failure and disappointment. I have struggled with expectations in my life, and now that I work publicly and have taken on more responsibility, I am always having to learn further lessons about expectations, mostly about how not to have them and how not to worry about fulfilling them. I was taught something important about expectations by a great man named, let's see if I can pronounce this, Laka Lama, when I was in Sweden in 2010. He had arranged to come to visit me before my talk, having heard that I was visiting Sweden, where he lives. Knowing he was a Tibetan Lama, I was nervous and self-conscious meeting him, and my expectations put me in an anxious state of mind even before he arrived. To my relief, he came to the door dressed in normal street clothes. He introduced himself casually, with no ego or pretense, and simply sat down on the couch and called me to sit beside him. I offered him some chocolates, and he ate them in his calm, quiet, and joyful manner. He was totally relaxed in himself. I learned a great deal just from being in his presence. He told me that I should give no energy to expectation, that my job in this world is to live simply in love in the best way I can and to allow others to live in their own way. I was getting ready to address several hundred people during one of my presentations, and I was nervous. He knew this, and with a little pat on my chest, he told me to relax my heart. He told me that it was not my job to convince people to believe me or the message I shared, but simply to share the message. Then he told me something I will never forget. Your job is to cast the stone into the water. You are not in charge of how many ripples form or how big the ripples in the water are after casting the stone. He spoke of how expectations are what lead us into despair, as well as into feelings of doubt, failure, and judgment of others. His words have stayed with me ever since. When I feel all the encompassing pressure of trying to fulfill others or my own expectations, or of getting caught up in how others think of me, I am reminded of his analogy of tossing the stone and not having expectations. This is so important to remember so that we do not judge others or ourselves. We cannot control how what we say or do will be received or what will come afterward. We can only speak and act from our soul's deepest urgings toward the highest good. Whether we are loved or hated, whether our efforts come to success or failure, we can do our best to free ourselves from attachment and expectation. This is an important step in transforming those limited thought patterns that would prevent us from fulfilling our soul's purpose here. Every day I try to release the fear of what could happen in the future and simply stay grounded in my deepest knowing about what I am here to do and share. Every day I try not to have expectations and to do what my heart wants most, even though it is sometimes difficult. When you free yourself of expectations of how things are supposed to be and how they are meant to turn out, you free yourself to be fully alive in each moment, following the callings of your spirit. Oh, sorry, my dog just came in. You wanna come up? Come on. Come. Come on. Oh, he's on the other side. Here. I'll mommy move. I don't know if he'll come into camera or not. Big boy. Okay. Yeah. There we go. Okay. Changing the channel. With so many catastrophic events happening in the world today and so much uncertainty about the future, it is crucial to be aware of the negativity that we allow ourselves to take in. This can profoundly affect our ability to stay connected to our hearts at those times when we most need to stay connected. We unconsciously feed on images of fear and destruction, and it ends up making us more passive, more powerless, more disconnected from spirit and our higher selves. Hello? Do you want to say hi? That's Nanook. Say hi. Hi, Nanook. Yeah, you're not going to say anything. Okay. Sorry. He likes to talk when I'm talking. Okay, where was I? The media, in particular, uses images of destruction and chaos to keep people glued to their TVs and computers. They like to create a web of fear because fear keeps people tuned in. Although it is hard to see death and destruction and not give in to fear and despair, that is exactly what we need to be able to do now. We need to be able to recognize those moments when we are giving our energy away to negativity and change the channel. It's easy to get drawn into fear and pessimism. It's easy to get drawn into fear and pessimism about the future. The Gulf oil spill and the Fukushima nuclear disaster in Japan are two recent horrific events that sent the world into a state of fear. This book was written 10 years ago, I think, so yeah. I don't think there was anyone who saw these things happening who did not feel sorrow, scared, and worried. This is natural. It is human to feel grief and compassion in response to suffering, but there is a way to feel compassion and emotion and still not give your energy away to negativity, which affects your energy field. You can make a choice about how you inwardly respond when faced with outer adversity or chaos. You can choose to stay tuned in to the higher vibrations of the heart, and in this way change your reality. Do you wish to live in heaven or in hell? Both are available to us in each moment, regardless of what our outer reality looks like. We can always choose the inner state to be in, regardless of what we see outside of us. If we can choose to do this, we can change not only what we experience individually, we can actually change the world. When I have spoken to people around the world about changing the channel, I have often been asked whether I am saying that we should not pay attention to the news or what is going on in the world. This is definitely not what I mean. We need to be aware of what is happening in the world, to be actively engaged in working for change as our hearts dictate. But we do not need to accept and absorb the negativity that is constantly being fed to us from so many directions. To change the channel means that you do not seek out things or attach to things that make you feel bad, low, anxious, fearful, confused, or small. You can focus on something beautiful, positive, inspiring, or hopeful instead, and thus protect your energy from being lowered. Otherwise, you actually create more negativity by just focusing on it and giving it so much of your attention and emotion. You cannot help solve a problem or a crisis by becoming depressed and fearful, or by replaying in your mind just how bad it is. To create something better, you need to be in your highest energy as a divine co-creator, to be connected to your higher self, your heart. This is very important during this time that we're going through, guys. It's very important that you stay in positivity. And I know it's hard, but we can't be in fear because that's what they want. That's what lowers your vibration. So, like I've said before, you need to, my thing lately is just listening to music. Like, I love music, and just listening to music, and it makes me happy. Or watch comedy. Like, laughter is the best. So, go outside, hug a tree, watch the sunset again, put your feet in the grass. Just, yeah. I love music, and I don't get a whole lot of time to listen to it, but yeah, this morning before doing this, I was listening to John Denver because I grew up on John Denver, and that's a video I kind of want to do. That maybe I'm thinking if you follow the letter 17 Q board, is that Vincent Fusca, if you know who that is, might be John Denver. So I have a lot of pictures. I think it is. I want to say it is. I would love it to be, because I love John Denver. I grew up singing his songs. So anyway, I had to listen to some of his music this morning. It makes me happy. So anyway, television and the internet are two of the most powerful forces in our lives, wherein we passively absorb a great deal of garbage without being aware of it. The cumulative effect of this is that our feelings about ourselves and the world are actually affected. Absorbing so much mental information of a low vibration does exactly the opposite of what time spent with nature does. It depletes your energy field. You get stuck in your head, and your attention is drawn in a million directions, all unimportant and shallow. More and more of us have grown to depend on computers and high-tech gadgets, and I'm no exception, but the more we can limit our passive exposure to such meaningless chatter, the better. If you hear something negative on the news, realize that you can change the channel. The key here is not to check out and be unaware of things, but to recognize that you need not live in fear or accept someone else's version of reality and of what is possible or impossible. You do not have to give your energy to negativity, regardless of what is occurring around you or across the world. You have an obligation to protect your most powerful creative resource, your own consciousness. You can choose to focus on that which is life-giving, hopeful, nourishing, inspiring, and toward healing and wholeness. This is true in more everyday situations as well. If someone with you is speaking harshly of someone else or spewing a lot of cynicism and negativity, don't be afraid to ask the person to change the channel, or simply refuse to participate in that kind of negative conversation. You can stop listening or attempt to steer the conversation to something more positive. Likewise, when we get pulled into mindless consumerism, we are also consuming much negativity. We are usually being unconsciously manipulated to think that we need things that we don't actually need. Instead of using our creative powers to create happiness and beauty for ourselves and others, we are told that we can buy these things and that without them we will be lost. We give away our power this way. Part of that just reminds me, I've tried to tell my daughter, I've realized at the age I am, not everyone's gonna like you, not everyone's gonna get along, and you might have enemies, but I guarantee you, even the people I didn't like, there's at least one thing that you're gonna have in common with that person. So think about that next time. You might even hate this person. Like I said, you just don't get along with them, you don't vibe with them, but there's at least one thing someday you might find that you do have in common. So we are all connected, whether we like each other or not. If you catch yourself sinking into this mind space and notice that your feelings are being channeled toward buying this, that, or the other thing, you can decide to change the channel. Instead of buying that fancy new gadget, you can build something, paint, write a poem, play with a child, or take a hike in the mountains. You can do something that actually gives you more life energy and not just take the quick fix high that buying stuff gives. Giving our energy away to consumerism and things that drain us causes us to forget how spiritually powerful and free we really are. That what we might have and create is far beyond the momentary happiness that such distractions give to our lives. None of these things are bad, but when we get caught up in them, we become lessened and unknowingly give away our power and life energy. Every morning and each night, look into the sky and truly feel and affirm, everything is good and beautiful. I am a creator. I am God and Goddess. I can change my world. Doing so will raise your energy vibration sky high. When you read something in the newspaper and get wrapped up in fearful negativity, your energy plummets. It's the difference between being in charge of your state of being, your consciousness, and being a slave to whatever is outside of you. You always have a choice. This past year, I had great opportunity to practice changing the channel in my own life. Becoming well-known does have its disadvantages. I have been blessed that my online videos have reached millions of people, and the overwhelming majority of these people are extremely loving and supportive. But with a lot of light and goodness always comes some darkness too. I found to my dismay that when I had reached a certain level of recognition, some individuals began attacking me and spreading blatantly false, even ridiculous statements about me online. At first, I tried to engage these people in the spirit of goodwill and truth, but I soon realized that some people will ridicule you no matter what you say or do. It is an unfortunate reality that for every person who tries to speak or act in the world, who steps into visibility, there will be a person who wants to throw stones and criticize. At first, this kept me up at night. Then I realized that I was giving away a great deal of my energy and power. The only way to conquer such negativity is by holding a vibration of love and compassion, regardless of what comes. If you meet it with defensiveness or anger, it only gives the negative more power. Though it has not always been easy, I have had to become adept at changing the channel to be able to go on and continue my work for the sake of Mother Earth, and not to be intimidated or swayed from my path. I had to commit to the truth of my being and to stand firm in what I know to be my soul's purpose. I had to stop focusing on the negative and hold on to the positive. In other words, I had to change my channel. As human beings, we sometimes think that if we are good and loving and do everything right, we will not face criticism or hostility from others. But this is not always the case. We live in the dimension of duality, where darkness and light coexist. We are sometimes met with negativity for no apparent reason. We do not have to accept the negativity others direct at us. Sometimes even the people closest to us may try to undermine or belittle us and so they can feel better about themselves. This is mostly unconscious behavior and always has to do with with that person doing the judging, not the person who is being judged. We can change the channel and not allow the negative projections and judgments of others to make us smaller. We can remember that we are a spark of the divine love and that we are perfect as we are. No one has the right or the power to make us small, to take our energy. Only we can give our energy away. It is so much better to give our energy to that which inspires our hearts and enlarges our senses of who we are and our capabilities. It may not always be easy, but it is one of the tools that will help us awaken as human beings, especially when we are faced with destruction and fear. Instead of taking it in, we can turn inward and choose to stay connected to love. And there's a saying of, I'm not perfect, but I'm perfect the way I am. And I love that saying because all of us have faults. All of us are not perfect at all by any means, but the Creator made us perfect the way we are. So anyway, again, that was from Message for the Tribe of Many Colors by Little Grandmother Keisha Crowther. I'll probably do some more readings out of that, but for today I'm going to sign off, and we'll see what else we can do for another video. But I love all you guys. Thank you so much for all my subscribers. I'm slowly gaining more people every week, so I appreciate it. And yeah, maybe I'll do a paranormal video and tell you about some of my experiences I've had with visitors. That might be something good to do. But anyway, again, let me leave you with this too, with everything going on. I like the saying that Alex Collier says, and that he got from the Andromedans, that the pain or the love that you withhold is the pain that you carry lifetime after lifetime. So next time you run into a situation that really irks you, troubles you, step back for a minute and just think, what can I do to not react, or react so, not be so angry about it. I've had to do that many times in my life, and yeah, because I don't want to carry pain anymore. I'm ready to go home. So anyway, yeah. Hey, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all on the next video. I love you all. Bye.